Hello there, my loyal fans. It's time for Space Quest 2099. It's a game that's been far too long in the making, and, well, I just want to show you it because I'm the developer and I'm going to talk about all the bits and bobs in the co-op campaign as I play through it for you. So, before ado is in any way furthered, let's go ahead and create our cooperative game. So, we've currently only got one episode, Attack of the Cyber Blokes. So, we'll pick this. We've got our nice poster. There's part 1. There's part 2. We'll get to part 2 in a bit. But, part 1 first. Plonk on Captain, because I'm pretty damn good at this game. And, server is Lever. And my name is Captain Dave. So, we'll head in, engage this game, and I'm going to ramble about the bits and bobs I thought about when making this. So, yeah, Space Quest 2099 has been in development for quite a while. Let's go ahead and pick Captain Dave, I think, because he's kind of like the generic character. All the characters, the differences are only cosmetic, in all honesty. They sound different, they're slightly different sizes, and the conversations that you encounter in the game are different because naturally you're different people, and it wouldn't make sense if you picked Lieutenant Geddon and he started speaking what Dave would say. Yeah, so all the differences are cosmetic, but it kind of gives a different feel to the game. It's a bit of flavour. Captain Dave is our kind of by-the-book captain type, and he sounds very British, exactly like this. Whereas you could play as Commander Boris, who is kind of the game's comic relief character. He is just stereotypical Russian, I would say, and he is quite a gentle giant. Anyway, let's enter our new area. You're about to see an amazing cutscene. So, plonk. Captain Dave here, Commanding Officer's Journal. The Thunderchild has been ordered to continue exploration of an unknown sector of the galaxy. In preparation for this perilous venture, all senior officers, including myself, are to partake in a new state-of-the-art combat simulation, made possible to the newly retrofitted computer core. Whilst Commander Boris, Lieutenant Geddon, and myself are away in training, I've placed Chief Engineer Malcolm as Executive Officer. I must admit, the tension on the ship feels palpable. We have no idea what we may find out there in the void, but I digress. We are explorers, after all. I am so sorry that you had to see that, but you see, I am a programmer and not an animator, and as a result, it's actually a hell of a lot easier for me to record cutscenes and perform them live action than it is to simply make them, you know, to animate them in engine and play them in game. Plus, you know, it kind of gives the whole Space Quest thing an extra level of cheese, and, well, I'm a bit of a Wallace. I like me some Gorgonzola.
Preparing simulation. Generating scenario. Battle operations bridge.
Captain Dave here, ready to engage in solo training. So, if you were not Captain Dave, somebody else would be speaking there. A different conversation. Right, here come the baddies, let's go. Oh, the evil red shirts. No, they're not evil. We're just playing a computer simulation. So these are our targets that we are in, which we are pitted against in our simulation. Oh, can't shoot me.
No shame on you.
So yes, one of the things that happens in the game is when you kill an enemy, your character has a chance of saying a one-liner. Now this one-liner has a number of different factors. So, for instance,
Oh, don't worry. I come in peace. Shoot to kill.
if you were to blow up an enemy with a grenade, Captain Dave might say something like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm sure I have my plasters in my pocket somewhere." Whereas if you were to electrocute him and say, "Oh, shocking, isn't it?" But right now, we are only using default weapons, so there's not a lot of flavour to the one-liners. Okay, blasting our way through here.
It's not like I was expecting you to live much longer anyway.
There we go, not like I was expecting you to live much longer anyway. So we'll keep going here, but no. We have got a heavy weapons bloke around the corner. Now, I'm trying to make it blue. Blue is the colour of science. And, well, it's the colour of science in the game, but I decided to make it blue to simply make him stand out. He's got the lethal weapon, and I wanted the player to be made aware of the fact that, okay, blue enemy, different than red, you can seek them out and target prioritise them, destroy them before they have a chance to destroy you. So they can't quite see me yet. I am going to unleash the secondary attack on this weapon. Most weapons have a secondary attack. And you will see primary, that secondary, bam. That did not do as much
Now
damage
that's
as I thought.
aggressive negotiations.
But yes, chews through a lot of ammunition, this weapon. And we're going to get some more ammunition for this later. But for now, it is kind of a privilege to use this.
Captain Dave wins yet again.
And, you know, we could... There we go, bang, bang, bang. Sneaky, they didn't quite see us. They're a bit stupid, these blokes. And let's take out this final weapon.
Captain Dave here. Congratulations for being the first person ever under my command to receive a field demotion.
Now, when I made Space Quest, when I was designing all the levels, interestingly, all the levels are actually interconnected. You could load all the levels into one big scene and actually walk throughout the entire ship. And that was one of the original plans for the game, to kind of have a slight open world sort of aspect to some of the game modes. The only problem is, it ate up a huge amount of RAM on the computer and the performance was just naff. But you will see that I've kind of recycled that concept in the fact that, well, you can just walk from area to area and there are almost seamless loading screens. You'll see that just in the next loading bit as we go to the computer core. Now these anti-gravity bits are somewhat interesting. They were easier to make than lifts. I wrote the code for some lifts, some elevators for you Yanks. And the way the game works, you as a player send your position to all other players on the network. You as a player stand on top of a lift goes up. There is always a slight delay between you sending your current position and it updating on other people's computers. So what would happen is you'd kind of appear to fall through the floor of the lift, because the lift would be updating before your player's position does. And you'd fall through the floor. Don't want that at all. So I thought, you can't fall through the floor if there is no floor to fall through. So I made this, and you just kind of go up and up and up. Anyway, yeah, there's some trivia for you. And you can go back up, but I don't want to go back up.
Captain Dave has secured the Battle Operations Bridge.
Yes, well done, Captain Dave. Let's go to the next area. There we go, that's kind of the seamless transition. So, yeah, we've just come from there. That's all turned off. And, well, let's go to the computer core, which I think you'll find looks rather phallic. Bang. Heroic music!
Stand down immediately. That's an order. Oh, don't worry. I'll just ask Boris to clear up the mess you've made.
So I actually kind of took quite a bit of inspiration from GLaDOS from Portal when I made this. I thought, well, how can you make one big sci-fi computer? Ooh, big scary thing that falls from the walls and down from the ceiling and looks big. It just also looks a little bit phallic, you know. Long and... Oh, there you are, you big blue bastard.
Haha! That's another one for Dave.
Nice, haha!
Ah!
Oh. And, yes, another little thing is, I've tried to put little rude acronyms everywhere throughout the game. So here we have the Singularity Hypermodulating Interdimensional Transporter. Anyway, yeah, a little Easter egg really. I get quite bored of making things like this, and you just want to plonk some little bits of interest in. Anyway, this is, in the territorial control game mode, this is one of the areas originally controlled by the command team. But I'm rambling. I'm supposed to talk about co-op. Let's go to the next bit. Oh, enemies, enemies. Now, the enemies can't see me right now. The way I've got vision to work is basically you get all enemies within a certain radius of your character, and then you get the vector, the directional vector from the character to where you are. And then from the way that the enemy is looking, you can then simply apply the vector dot product, and if it is below a certain threshold, that corresponds to a certain angle, which is, I said, about 90 degrees. So, yes, you perform the dot product on the difference vector. If it's below a certain threshold, it means that they're looking at you. That is not the case right now, because, well, they can't see me. But maths, gotta learn your linear algebra, kids. But if I were to walk in front of you... you see me now. And then an extra little calculation is done where I use a directional ray to make sure that nothing is in the path that the enemy is looking. Because it would be a bit naff if people could see you through walls.
You are going straight into my book of insubordination.
Yes, heroic Captain Dave is going to give them a what for. Ooh, shotgun.
Laser over this vulgar cudgel any day. It lacks a certain etiquette.
So one of the things I tried to do in this game was simply make all of the guns fun to use. A game's not going to be fun. You're not going to enjoy using the weapons if they're not inherently satisfying to fire. And the shotgun has a nice bang to it. If you've ever played games like, say, Doom 3 comes to mind, the shotgun has this kind of terrible foot to it. It's not a satisfying boom. So lots of the times I got some default weapon sounds, lots of them just royalty free off the internet, and went into Audacity and massively bass boosted them, reduced their pitch and just made them straight up louder. And yeah. Anyway, we got the next bit of level now, so we'll walk through here and you will be treated to another cutscene. virusy thing aboard the Thunderchild.
Down you go.
So, a little interesting tidbit about that cutscene is the camera technology that I used. Essentially, well, the camera technology, it traces... I need to start that again. The camera technology is the same camera technology developed by Blackbird Interactive, who made the pretty outstanding game Homeworld Deserts of Karak. And it's a way of pretty much setting up cameras and they will dynamically follow objects. So you don't need to specify orbital paths or dolly tracks or anything really, like the angle that they point. They will latch onto an object. You can add certain amounts of kind of camera shutter and the frequency gain, the amplitude gain, all of that. You can change the actual waveform of how it shudders and all that. Oh, technical stuff. I'm not very good at explaining things. But yeah, it's really, really handy because you don't need to do any hard coding at all. You can kind of say, I want to look at this object, and then you can move the object, and the cameras will keep up with it. It's like having virtual cameramen. It's great. Anyway, vehicle bay.
Chief Engineer Malcolm here. They're having a little bit of trouble with the old computer systems right now.
Are you?
The reports coming in of ship-wide power fluctuations. Hold your horses, sir. Simulation may get way bumpy.
Generating scenario. VVVVVVVVV vehicle bay.
Oh, there are the baddies. Right, let's use the grenade launcher. I have heavily based the design of this grenade launcher off that of in Star Trek Voyager Elite Force. But it's a lot more gory. Look at this.
Captain Dave here. I hope that doesn't sting too much.
Bang! And they all explode. Actually, that was very slightly buggy. Something wasn't quite going on right there, but I'm just going to gloss over that because such is the nature of indie development. Oh, baddie.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. I'm sure I have some plasters in my pocket somewhere.
Oh, yes, satisfying. So the way I've made that sound is actually slow motion recording me slapping a water balloon and popping it in a sink, and then kind of making some squelching noises with my mouth. So I dropped a balloon and then went I made noises like that with my mouth, and then just chucked it all together in an audio program.
Damn them! They can't do that! They're overriding the bloody blast door!
Overriding the bloody blast door? Gosh, that's not supposed to happen at all! Baddies. Ooh. Oh, I missed my one grenade. Right. We'll take some cover. Do some target prioritization. There we go.
Stand down
Killed the nasty
immediately.
people.
When I shoot to kill, you come to pieces.
That is a...
illustrious Captain Dave.
Okay, I'm just going to nab a few more grenades, which are up here. A bit more health, and pick up these dropped heavy weapons. I haven't actually named the weapons. That's a little thing I should have done. Oh, I'm already full on ammunition. Yeah, I should probably give the weapons some names. Ooh. Oh, baddies. Bang. Right, that showed them. And what's around here? Okay, so we need to get here somehow. Essentially, these shiny yellow hologrammy things. Yeah, that's what they're called, shiny yellow hologrammy things. When the game is played co-op, it requires all players in the game to be inside that trigger area. it's a way that's preferable to saying, no, you can't walk this far away from this player, because nobody likes having restrictions placed on them. You know, when you play at co-op, you can do absolutely anything you like. Just, you got to meet up at certain points. Say, oh, go and do this and I'll meet you at the objective soon. So, just give the players a bit more freedom, because nobody likes being hammed into things. Anyway, right, we need to get in, but the override control is located in the hangar. So, let's go to the hangar, shall we? Now you notice, I can kind of do some bunny hopping.
Officers, your time of failure is now.
My God! They've got a yonking great exosuit!
Ah! Oh yeah, bunny hopping. I've recreated the Quake boot controller so you can bunny hop.
I shall teach you to treat us ratings with respect.
And I, Captain Dave, will destroy you single-handedly. Damn, I'm good. No match for a British officer.
Now we get its gun. Oh yes. Rocket launcher time. Oh, okay, okay. You're going to want some rockets, aren't you?
Ah! Your ungraceful death reminds me of that lizard monster in Stalacrax 4. How was your day? Looks like you've had a blast.
Oh, you Captain Dave with your terrible one-liners. Looks like you've had a blast. Okay. I'll let you read that. So, we've also got some little transporters there. Ooh, secrets. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to incorporate, even though it's a co-op game, optionally a co-op game I should say, as I'm playing it right now single player, it works absolutely fine, is to incorporate non-linear level design, because nobody likes corridor shooters. Oh.
Sir, we've just lost all help control. Well, get it back, damn it! Scan the ship! Commence in deep level quantum diagnostic.
So that's opened the doors.
Look, aye, who's the new? Somebody's got uploaded a virus to computer core. Damn it, Dave, you technologically illiterate bastard. Why did you skip one to security?
Boy, don't speak to me like that. Right, let's go. We need to get out of this thing. It's clearly malfunctioning. Look at all that on the wall.
Watch out! Detecting yonkin massive amounts of foreign data entering your simulator.
Oh, bloody hell.
Ooh.
Down you go.
Malcolm, this would be a perfect time to open the exit door. I'm trying to get you out of this death trap. Like with as fast as my fingers will go.
Your ungraceful death reminds me of that lizard monster on Stalacrax 4.
Oh, taking a bit of damage there. Picking up the health. Right.
Crikey!
Right, we gotta get out of here. Get out of here. I spent way too much time making this. Whew. Whew.
Open channel to discuss terms of surrender.
Your ungraceful
well, that's part 1 of the developer commentary done, at least on the co-op bits. If you weren't absolutely bored out of your mind, you can watch the next one, which I'm going to record later. Ta-ra! Captain Dave out.